That we are live streaming right now. Yep, there we go. We just went live.
I'm tired of Jeff doing it.
All right.
I wanted, yeah, I wanted.
So additional items for tonight, just if you look on finance, number 6 will be Aramark. And with Aramark, it's going to read, recommend approval of a contractual relationship between Conewago Valley School District and Aramark for custodial services from April 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, conditioned on terms to be finalized by written agreement between the parties and subject to final solicitor approval. So we'll be voting on that tonight. In Ways and Means, number 6 is a new course Dr. Perry talked about last week, and that's college and the high school child development that we'll be offering next year. There are no additional property and supplies, as there's none to begin with. And other than that, really concludes, I think next month, I believe we talked about having a meeting early to do a personnel meeting. Is that correct, Mrs. Duncan? In March to talk personnel. So we talk about potential positions that we may have for the district through retirements and everything else. We'll look to start that meeting earlier than normally you start 7. I think we'll start around 6 for that, or 6:30, depending on what we have. I'll let the board know. We'll advertise for and everything for that. And that would be March 2nd, I believe. No, March 1st.
March 1st and March 8th. Is
Yep.
the board meeting.
So. Mike Buckley just joined.
Yeah, I'm doing it. So,
All right, so I think we have everyone here. Those are all the additional items for tonight. Just a reminder, we'll get started here in 2 minutes. Just a reminder, Mr. Groff, let everybody know that we did hold an executive session before
yes,
the meeting.
I have it underlined right here.
Nice.
Also, the last one upside down.
Our student is here, Isabel Manakers. I think we're just waiting on Sanders and okay, and Dr. Bowman, I believe. So I'm gonna see if I can make you. Where it is? Oh, you're not on there. Never mind. So.
Well,
Yeah.
They know how.
I know, that's why I came in. I
Couldn't
didn't-
even put a face to the name.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I did make sure I was still around.
He was getting tired of falling asleep in the room, that's what it was.
What's that? I was. Get out of the house. I got my vaccine, so.
I'm sure you came in last week. Told him I had my.
I probably would have came in.
There's
last
Dr.
week.
Bowman.
Had my 4-row ones up there.
He just texted me, nope, skip it.
Yeah, that's awesome. No problem. I didn't have it. Very few. We one down in our office had aches of pain, fever, and sweats for 2 days.
And there's Dr. Sanders.
Everybody else had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any symptoms.
Good.
Okay.
Did you want this one or not?
What's that?
And you want
That's
that?
up to you. I can certainly do that if you'd like. Turn it on, but I mean, if you have it on your screen, I think we'll be okay.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. It is 7:29. Our live stream is going. So, Mr. Groff, we have everyone in the board meeting that needs to be in. So if you're okay and you're ready to go ahead, sir.
Okay. We will call to order the February 8th meeting. We will stand and pledge allegiance. During a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Before we start, I will remind everyone that we had an executive session for personnel reasons. And we will move on to the approval of the January 4th minutes. Do I have any additions or corrections before we take a motion? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of the minutes being approved, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, do we have our building reports this evening?
We do. Actually, we're going to start with Dr. Corbin. And
Okay.
then Dr. Corbin, we'll just work down grades 12 to kindergarten. All right, so Dr. Corbin, when you're ready, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here this evening. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the special ed things that are going on throughout the district. The high school, which I'm sure Dr. Bowman will talk a little bit about too, did their spring Get Acquainted evening, where teachers were able to Zoom with parents to introduce semester 2 classes and expectations. And we also, they were also able to Zoom with parents for our advisory classes. So that was pretty nice with that mid-year check. The life skills classes have taken advantage of the CCTC and learning how to use those everyday tools safely. So that's been a great experience for them as well. In the middle school, both the LS teachers and their fellow co-teachers have found some very positive things with the change that was made from the resource room. It allows them to work consistently with the students, and especially those that are completing virtual work, really help them each day with that transition. Our 8th grade learning support teachers have been working tirelessly to work with our 8th grade students to try to get their schedules matched up with strengths, needs, interests as they're looking into their 9th grade year and scheduling classes. So kudos to Derek, Aaron, and Gina. They're doing a great job communicating that with the high school teachers through this transition. Also with that, we are excited to be working with the LIU to add on an additional special education classroom for our 9th through 12th grade autistic support students. And we're working in conjunction with the IU on that. And we look forward to scheduling them into their 9th grade classes also in the next month or so. We're also scheduling for our upcoming 7th graders. So our 6th grade just met with our 7th grade today to have a transition meeting, and those teachers talked very highly about all of the students. And they met today just to assure that we can make sure that all those kids are going to do well as they transition up to the middle school. Looking at some of our CTE teachers, all of the teachers, when they were on quarantine, worked very diligently during the school closure, and students were ready and willing to work virtually until they could get back into school. So I know they were excited to do that. One teacher actually shared from NOE that during the inclement weather on those virtual days, she had 100% participation from her kindergarten and 1st grade special education students. So that was great to hear as well. We're excited about all of the special education students and the teachers and how they just continue to go strong each day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Corbin. Dr. Bowman, when you're ready, sir.
Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Corbin pointed out, we hosted our Spring Get Acquainted Night virtually on February the 3rd. Teachers and parents alike made the best of the event by interacting virtually regarding the new semester and all that it has to offer our students. We were pleasantly surprised again at our attendance and appreciate the opportunity to interact with our parents, be it virtually or in person. So much so that we, may consider offering a virtual option to parents who prefer that option for whether it's a childcare issue or an hours at work issue. So we'll kind of see how we can work that into our future events for parents that may need it as an option. We're currently meeting with the various departments in our building for their mid-year check-ins regarding their goals. The big three, that of Schoology, Apple Teacher Certification, and Linkit, continue to be a focus for all, and growth continues to occur in all of those areas of focus. We held our first round of Keystone exam makeups last week, with a final round of makeup slotted for March. Kudos again go out to Kelly Kuhn for being our leader in regard to all things Keystone. I'm not really sure where we'd be without her. Congrats to a few of our students here. Liz Pfister for a second place finish, and Sydney Christner for a third place finish in the District 21, which is comprised of York, Adams, and Franklin counties, in the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Voices of Democracy essay competition. An awards ceremony for these young ladies, as well as the other winners, with limited attendance, is being held in the near future at the local post in East Berlin. Also, some updates about the continued success of our speech and debate team, who, by some miracle, continue to find a way to practice and compete during these crazy times. But just recently, in the most recent NSDA tournament, Kiefer Bell finished first place up in Pine Richland in poetry. Sydney Christner finished in the top 10 in a field of 45 in the Lincoln Douglas debate event, and as did the team of Caitlin Fry and Maya Richwine in public forum. So it was a great showing and a strong regional tournament, which was actually attended by schools from 8 different states. So it says, again, a lot about the time, talent, and dedication of our speech and debate team. Athletically, we are still moving along with our winter seasons. Between weather and other COVID-related closures, we have somehow managed to complete 70% of our seasons. The postseason will look quite different this year, with smaller brackets and no league championships. The regular season for wrestling will actually end first this year. Our team has fought hard all year and has 3 more dual meets remaining before the individual sectional tournament occurs on February the 20th. We wish the best of luck to all our members who qualify for the postseason this year for wrestling. Our boys and girls basketball teams have also put in a lot of hard work and have shown growth throughout the winter season. The next 2 weeks are jam-packed with contests. I think we have like 4 games this week and 3 next week, give or take, in each of those 2 teams. So we wish them the best as they close out their season. We will actually honor our girls, our seniors tonight at the girls game, along with our swimming seniors. And then we will honor our senior boys next Friday night at their home game. Speaking of our swim team, they have 4 more meets over the next 2 weeks as well, starting this Thursday at Spring Grove. We wish them the best of luck as they close out their season. And then no sooner will our sports seasons end, and we'll be gearing up for spring sports, which is of now. Officially will begin on March 8th with practices. We are certainly hoping for the best and that all of our athletes will compete without masks like we did in the fall with protocols in place, but we'll have to see how that all plays out, so stay tuned. Lastly, congrats to our most recent student athletes who signed their letters of intent to continue their academic and athletic careers at the next level. Carrie Bear for field hockey at East Stroudsburg University, Dorothy Bertrand for tennis at Arcadia University, Savannah Wynn-Pigler for lacrosse at Misericordia University, Connor Beans for football at Delaware Valley College, Braden Carver for lacrosse at the University of Louisville, and Aiden Hafer for baseball at the University of Pitt at Bradford. As a final thought, I want to give a shout out to our entire New Oxford High School family. Our faculty and staff continue to grind every day to create the best learning experiences and environment possible for our students. This adversity, as most of you know, has truly highlighted the talents and dedication of our educators, who, in my opinion, are often overlooked when it comes to the impact they have on the community and the society as a whole. I'm proud to be at NOHS, and I'm proud to be at Colonial. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bowman. Mr. Mahler.
Good evening, school board, administrators, and member of our school community. Thanks again for the opportunity to say a few words about New Oxford Middle School. I want to reflect back to a very productive in-service session that we had during the high school turnaround day, January 18th. Many offerings that we had that allowed our teachers to collaborate, while at the same time, they were able to make a lot of strides on their big 3 personal and professional goals for the school year. We also just finished up our planning for our February faculty meeting that'll happen here in a couple weeks. A lot of topics for professional dialogue will be, the main topic is performance-based assessments, which we dabbled with a little bit this year as one of our goals. Also, we moved from 8 to 22 Apple certifications in our building. So we're making some good strides with that. And our goal is to have our entire teaching staff Apple certified here by the end of the school year. I'd like to give a shout out to our learning coach, our new learning coach, Eva Karkov. She's helped to create these faculty meetings and the in-service days with me here recently. She also helped create and distribute a New Oxford middle school welcome video that is a solid snapshot of our building. We're looking to upload that onto our website very soon. And actually, it's being used tonight at Montessori's open house as a promotion for the next step for some of those kids, because some of them may be coming into our district. February 3rd was Read Aloud, World Read Aloud Day, and our building participated in the activity as teachers across our building read to their students and vice versa. A variety of pieces were used, ranging from teacher favorites to reading in the content, and we're hoping to continue this push in some of our future scheduling ideas and building goals. Very proud of our winter athletes. No easy task this year for sure, with some of the tough regulations that all the athletes must endure. But from what I witnessed and what our coaches have shared with me, very, very competitive in sports, and the interest was pretty high in each of our respective sports. So we're excited to see the direction that they're heading. Like to give out a shout out to our school counselors, as last week was National School Counselor Week. Laurie Miller and now Adrian Herndon are both exceeding the call in their efforts to provide counseling services to our students each and every day in a very difficult environment, difficult time here in public school and quite frankly across the country. So we appreciate them every day. And speaking of our counselors, next week we're designated as a Kindness Week at New Oxford Middle School, and that's in recognition of National Kindness Day on the 17th. We're hoping to spread kindness and encouragement to our student body. TNT is working on passing out hearts, and each student will receive one heart the week of the 15th, along with a personal note of kindness expressed on each heart from a student in their homeroom. Each student's going to receive a heart and candy, and then they're going to display those in the designated hallways that week. We're also looking for individuals to share a personal story of how they received kindness in their life or gave it away and how that impacted them. So we're hoping that'll be involving as many kids as we can, and hoping that'll be an encouraging experience. Our Future City project is well on the way. Project is due here soon. The paper's being submitted. There'll be a video that's submitted, and then of course a model. That's all presented virtually. We also have a couple teams in the Connects competition. That also is virtual, and all of that will come to a head here at the end of the month. So hopefully here in March, I can give you an update on that. Student Council sponsoring a classroom door decorating contest this week and next, and the judging will occur on the 19th. 7th grade students are using the theme American Heart Month, and 8th grade students are using the theme Black History Month for their design. So a shout out to Student Council for finding ways to unite our student body in a challenging year. And finally, we're in the middle of preparations for state assessments that are coming up in the spring. We schedule bi-weekly meetings to make sure that we're prepared to successfully conduct those assessments that are currently on the schedule. No doubt we're all going to face challenges, but we're committed to designing an effective schedule and create a positive testing experience environment for our kids so that they have a great opportunity to do as well as possible. So a lot happening. Just glad to be able to share that with you here tonight. And again, thanks for having me.
All right, thank you, Dr. Muller. Dr. Armacost.
Good evening, everyone. Just real briefly, as much as things are different, things still remain the same. We continue to administer the benchmarks. The Lincoln benchmark is completed for the winter. The DIBELs were completed for the winter, and kudos to our instructional aides who really scheduled that and pulled that off with the DIBELs. So we're anxious to really look at that data and see how it compares to previous years. I think it could be very eye-opening. Secondly, our kindness wall, our 3 big flat screen TVs are up and running throughout the building, 2 in the cafeteria, 1 in the lobby. Been a great addition. People can submit messages which continually run across those screens, and it's geared specifically for CVIS. upcoming meeting with the IU, Dr. Corbin, and our committee with the climate surveys. First of all, thank you to those on the board who helped complete some of that. We had over 20 community members complete it. We had 333 families complete it, 75 staff, and 729 students completed the survey. So we're excited to look at that data. If you think we are crazy to do a climate survey during the middle of a pandemic, our belief was just that climate is what it is and it shouldn't be impacted by the things that are going on at that time. Just to give you one quick snapshot, one of the questions I asked of the students was, I wish I went to a different school. So 95.2 of them said no, they strongly disagreed with that or disagreed with that. So that's outstanding, but I am concerned about the 4.8, which is 30 couple kids who would like to go to school. So there's some areas that we can work on and improve upon. As Mr. Mueller said, we are working on PSSAs. We had our first meeting today to say there's some significant challenges with we're testing 800 kids on a hybrid schedule, and allowing for test security, social distancing, mask wearing, and everything else is the understatement of the year, to be honest with you. But we're going to work through that and provide the best opportunities for our kids. And finally, I just want to thank our social committee. One of the things we committed to this year was every month having some type of staff activity. Today was one of our parents is a baker and made cake and individually wrapped for every teacher that was hand delivered by Mrs. Sign and Mrs. Ricard to all of our staff to enjoy cake on the afternoon. And the lady's an outstanding baker and was well appreciative. So like I said, every month we do something to build some camaraderie. So that's it from CVS. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Armacost. All right. Mr. Cobb, Dr. Sanders, attorneys at law. You guys, when you're ready, go ahead.
Good evening, Board of Directors, Administration, and Colonial Community. I think you'll see some similarities in our announcements here. This month, CTE and NOE are recognizing the core value of kindness. Our students had a virtual assembly teaching them to be a pineapple, which means to stand up tall, wear your crown, and be sweet on the inside. NOE's Social Committee has organized an activity for our staff members to spread hearts of kindness throughout our building, where staff members write down positive statements, traits, or quotes and post it outside their classroom doors. This has been a healthy and safe way to spread kindness to others in the month of February. Our students, kudos, shout out to them. Our students did an excellent job of completing assignments during our recent remote learning days due to inclement weather. A special thanks goes out to our staff, students, and families to make that all happen. And last but not least for NOE and CTE, as far as a combined announcement, kindergarten registration is now open. Registration can be completed online on the CVSD website.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. And going along, CT, we had our first remote shutdown last week. Coordinated with the snow days, of course. Things went great. It was amazing observing the students working in their small groups and their breakout rooms, and the leadership of the teachers was phenomenal, so greatly appreciated. Along those lines, special thanks to Mr. Kenny Wynn, our head custodian. He was busy all day Monday and Tuesday cleaning the building from top to bottom, every room, which did not give him any time to clean snow. So Wednesday, thank goodness, is the third day, he and the maintenance staff were busy cleaning everything up and getting the driveways cleared out and parking lots. And Thursday morning was like, well, we never missed a day of school, which is great. Also, special thanks to Melissa Gantz and Jen Shear. NOE and CT are focusing on their math fluency throughout the year, and they got a few more activities coming up here in the next couple of weeks, allowing their kids to focus on their math fluency as well. And finally, I met with PTO, and they are trying to do everything they can to keep the activities for the kids going. Every year we have a book buddy night where the students and staff come to CT in their PJs and read stories aloud. So we're gonna do that virtually. So we're gonna set up a date here in March so the kids can check in with the different teachers and staff members and have stories read aloud to them while we're all at home now in our PJs, ready to go. And we're also working on, every year we have our Sweetheart Dance. So we're trying to figure out a way we can still have our Sweetheart Dance here in the next month or so. So a couple of ideas kicked around, but we haven't finalized that, but that'll be coming up. So that's it from K3 land. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Isabella, about what's going on in the world of the high school?
Good evening, everyone. So Student Council, we're continuing to work hard on planning our outdoor spring movie. we split up into committees, and our food truck committee, they reached out to food trucks and we got some answers, have some paperwork to fill out now. So we're getting some responses and some different food trucks are able to come to our event. Right now, we're currently weighing out the pros and cons of either buying a screen or renting a screen. So we're still discussing what we're going to do there with a screen. And later, like closer to the movie, we're going to send out a Google form to see what movie students would be interested in watching. And in the next few weeks, I will be going around to different teachers and seeing who we can get to chaperone for the movie. That's all I have to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can hang up a big white sheet on the side of the building. If they hold something like that, can they do it outside and be social distance?
Yep, we're gonna try to do it as normal as we can with it. We're looking to utilize the field hockey field. And to Isabella's credit, they're gonna go out and they're gonna have just circles or pods where people could be socially distanced and still watch the movie. They're looking at doing the food trucks to make it a movie and a meal kind of deal. And I think Isabella probably knows better than I on this one, but the idea that the food trucks would also give a percentage of that back to the student council for their troubles. So I know she worked with Mr. Worley to pick a date that did not interfere with any spring athletics. Fingers crossed we don't have to reschedule anything, of course, without all that happening. But kudos to Isabella for, and the student council for all their thought going into this and just trying to have one night where they can feel like high school kids getting together. And so we really want to try to make this happen for them.
Okay, good. All right, I guess our next report would be our assistant superintendent.
Thank you. Good evening. So on the agenda for this evening for your approval are 2 items. The first being policy 815.2, which is the live streaming policy, which I went into some detail at our study session last week. The second item, which I'm really excited about, is a college and high school course in partnership with HAP to enable our family and consumer science students the opportunity to access college credits for a child development course. So, many thanks to Dr. Bowman and Kim Johnston-Smith, the curricular leader, for bringing that forward. As that is the goal for us, as we have been sharing with you throughout the year to increase the opportunities for college credits for our students. Keystones and PSSA, that's also a topic that we've heard, from most of our schools this evening. And every passing day, it's becoming more and more clear that spring testing will go on. So as Dr. Amerkost has indicated, we do need to work together to work through those challenges that naturally occur with the safety guidelines that we must keep in place. The latest information for students who attend Lincoln's Edge is that Lincoln's Edge would be handling the state testing for those students, while the Conewago Valley Online Academy students will be joining us here for that spring testing season. In terms of curriculum, some items that I really have not talked about that I do feel like it's worth mentioning. Have been working with principals and the curriculum leaders for ELA K3 to have some conversations relative to our literacy program and how we may consider upgrading and rewriting the curriculum at that level. But with the further goal of creating a vertical alignment, with grades 4 through 6 and 7 through 8 and 9 through 12. So that we all have this continuous understanding of what a journey for ELA might look like. So we're beginning just some preliminary conversations about what that might look like. It's been a lot of fun to engage in professional learning with the principals and the curriculum leaders. ELA Technical English course is a course that came to you earlier this year for approval for implementation next year. I am thrilled to have been invited to work with Sean Myers, the curriculum leader for technology education, and Amanda Sipe, the curriculum leader for English, to work collaboratively with them in the development of this course. I cannot overemphasize how unique this is to offer a course of this stature to high school students. This is typically offered at a 2-year program or a 4-year program, and it's most often specific to an area of interest such as engineering. This will provide an opportunity for us to spend some time aligning the standards for ELA in the technical subjects. Those standards do exist within Pennsylvania, but because they're not tested, they're often left aside. So I'm really interested in bringing to the forefront and bring some relevance to the teaching of English. So that would be a lot of fun. 2 other major projects that I'd like to thank the principals and assistant principals who've spent an inordinate amount of time with me, and as well as a number of teacher volunteers on 2 major committees, which is gifted education, along with Dr. Corbin is the lead on that, and the Conewago Valley Online Academy. So, throughout the year, I've been talking about our plans for implementation. Our goal is to come to you in May with recommendations for how we plan to move forward for the 21-22 school year. So we're really excited about that. So there's a lot going on in the world of curriculum. Another topic that I really have not spent much time talking to you about are our new teachers. So you met them at the beginning of the year. We're now at the midpoint of the year. And I couldn't be more thrilled with their overall growth and development and the support that they're receiving from their mentors, from their principals, and from each other. We've really developed a community of learners. We work and share together and commiserate together. They're finding strength in being with one another. Emily Kress, who's been working hand in hand with me for induction, to teach the technology aspects, and so that our teachers can utilize the technology to the best that they can, and she is presently in the schools working with our new teachers through what's called a coaching cycle. So there's lots of positive feedback that I'm hearing from that relationship and that partnership from the principals, Emily, and the new teachers. So I'm excited about these coaching cycles and how much we're all learning going through this process together. And finally, my last reflection for the evening, major kudos for everyone. It's really hitting me being at that midpoint of the year, the adaptability that's being shown by our students, by our teachers, by our administrators, by us, you as board members. And the adaptability is such a key area for us. And what's really coming out of the reflections of COVID, what it's taught us is how we can reinvent and how we can be doing things differently. And we just heard Dr. Bowman talk about that opportunity to do things differently, that moving forward, maybe we should offer a virtual option, for our families who can't physically be here. That's powerful work that we're all doing together. So I just wanted to acknowledge that in my conversations with teachers and administrators, I hear more and more of that about what we can steal from this otherwise horrible time that we're all challenging time that we're working through. So that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our superintendent's report, Dr. Riedesel.
Well, good evening. Obviously, as we near the time to present our budget to the public in April, I wanted to take a minute to talk about the challenges that we face here as a district. The first being is the funding from the state level. Currently, our state underfunds our district at a cost of $3,490 per student. We have a total enrollment, whether it be here in brick and mortar, out in cyber charter, wherever in our district, of 4,471 students. 3,618 attend our school this year in person with us. That equates to $12.6 million that the state underfunds our district. That's $12,600 that we never budget for because we know we will never get. That's 12.6 million opportunities for our students that are lost because of the state. On top of that, this year, we will also face an additional $4.2 million deficit that we will see due to cyber and charter schools, how they are funded. While you may hear that these schools claim they are free, they really are not free at all. The district pays $10,960 for every regular education student that decides to attend a charter school, or cyber charter school. If that child is special education, the cost of the district is $26,510. The money is taken from our school district to help fund the free cyber charter schools. This money affects us in many ways, losing this money. We see it in the form of bigger class sizes, due to not being able to hire more teachers or replace ones that retire at times. In addition, it's the inability to provide updated materials, equipment, furniture, whatever the school may need at times, due to the fact of losing $4.2 million on a yearly basis. On top of this flawed system, recently we were very fortunate to receive a grant from the state, the ESSERS 2 grant. Conewago Valley was very fortunate. We received $2 million to help one-time spending for the district, whether it be getting more live stream equipment, looking to make sure that we're prepared for graduation this year and many years forward, whatever the case may be. What's disheartening in all this is while we received $2 million as a school district, 2 cyber charter schools received a total of $22 million. One school received $9 million, another school received $13 million. That's 13 more million opportunities that we could have been used for our school or any school in the state of Pennsylvania. That was again given to a free cyber charter school instead of us. All totaled, $337 million out of the $2.2 billion given to the Commonwealth was sent to cyber charter schools. It's time that we as a district and every district in the state of Pennsylvania starts to speak up to make changes to ensure our students and families do not suffer any more than needs to be due to this flawed system. Tonight, you'll notice on the board agenda, I'll be recommending that our school board approve Resolution 115, Charter School Funding Reform. The resolution asks that the General Assembly revise the existing flawed charter school funding system for regular and special education students to ensure that our school district and taxpayers are no longer overpaying for schools or reimbursed for costs of the charter and cyber schools so that we can provide for our own students. Thank you very much for tonight. Thank you for listening. That's all I have to report.
All righty. Point well taken. All right. Is there any of comments on the agenda related items?
No, not right now.
All right, then we'll move on to honor and recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Groff. Have several congratulations and recognition. First off, congratulations to Peyton Mathis, who was selected as the New Oxford High School Rotary Student of the Month for December. Secondly, congratulations to Mrs. Wendy Stoner and her first grade students at CTE. The class had 100% participation in the My First Library Card program. That was sponsored by Adams County Library. And as a result of that wonderful participation rate, the class will have the opportunity to have a virtual visit from author Matt Phelan. So that's pretty cool. And then congratulations to Brandon Carver for being nominated for the Winter Sports Athlete of the Week for the week of 25 January. Congratulations to Dylan Forbes and Ella Billman for being nominated for the Winter Sports Athlete of the Week for February 1st. And then also in the agenda, we continue to have our students be accepted into multiple colleges and to be awarded scholarships. So congratulations to those students. That's it, Mr. Rowe.
All right. Thank you, Joe. And then move on to the treasury report.
The balance of the 4 accounts is $21,578,433.64. I recommend that the treasurer's report be filed for all.
Okay. Do we have any additions or corrections in Anybody see anything that we need to change? If not, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. We have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
Ms. Gauker,
See if she's still on.
I'll go on.
Yep.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Mr. Souter, yes, Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Groff.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to finance. Luke,
I'd like to recommend items 1 through 5 with additional item number 6 for approval.
all right, we've heard 1 through 5 with addition of 6. Is there any additions or corrections that anyone has bring to the board? Do we have a second?
Second.
We do have a second. We have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Mrs. Souter, yes.
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
and Mr. Groff.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to Ways and Means.
I
Mrs.
rec-
Souter.
I recommend numbers 1 through 5 in Ways and Means, plus the additional item number 6 for approval.
All right. We've heard of an approval for 1 through 5 with addition of 6. The Family and Consumer Science, Child Development. Is there any additions or corrections on those? If not, do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a second. We have a roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
and Mr. Groff.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to personnel.
I'd like to recommend items 1 through 8 and additional items 9 through 13 for board approval.
Okay. Heard Eric say 1 through 8 plus 9 through 13. Is there any additions or corrections to that list that we have? If not, do I have a second?
Second.
We do have a second. Will we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Craybill,
Yes.
Mrs. Souter,
Yes.
Mr. Kinshu,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Flickinger,
Yes.
Mrs. Bolton,
Yes.
and Mr. Groff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have no properties and supplies tonight. Dates to remember, March 1st would be our study session, and March 8th should be our next board meeting. And is there any other business that may properly come before the board at this time? Any public comment, anything from any board members?
Public comment.
Okay. Well, at 8:08, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Nice.
Good night.
So this is dropped off early on.